Hey, Queen, welcome to week 2 of the conditions of your heart. And obviously, this series is all about being unstoppable in your health, being unstoppable in your wealth, and also your purpose. And like I introduced before, prior, I'll reintroduce this is that we don't think about some of these conditions of our heart as contributing factors of impacting our bank accounts and impacting our true happiness and peace. And I'm here to stand in the front line to give you some really deep thoughts here around the conditions of our heart and how it does impact our lives and more than what we think. And I want every woman in my circle, every queen, to be unstoppable. And these are the topics that we have to address in order to move forward. Today is a topic that is not always the most funnest to talk about, and it's not the most engaging. So if I put it out there and say, let's talk about this topic, everyone will be like, oh, I don't want to talk about that and avoid it. But yet, it's something that we all truly need to address because it affects 7% of our population. And we're talking about a population of 6 billion people. That means we are talking about 16 million people are affected by this condition. And this condition is depression. You have even experienced it yourself, Queen. You may be in it right now in your life. And I want to talk about ways that we can be a little bit more open about it, especially women of color to be more open about it. I've worked with so many different women in my coaching practice in these last 6 years. And I have to say, my Black women, you are not open to talk about this subject as much as a white woman or even a Latino woman. But I want you, Black Nubian Queen, to embrace and really address the condition of your heart and really identify if you have been depressed or not, or in the blues, or having some low moments where it made you feel so insignificant, or experiencing a traumatic event in your life and it left you just plopped on the ground and you didn't even know what to do afterwards. Define yourself to get back in the motions. I know that you have a tribe to lead. I know that you have subordinates to guide. And I know you have your kids to continuously inspire and serve. But I want you to be so real with yourself today as I'm talking about this subject. And I'll even be more transparent as we go forth in this conversation today. Because I want you to know that there's no shame in this word depression. I want you to really take that in. Take in a deep breath right now. There's no shame in depression. Depression is real. It affects almost 7% of our population right now. And that was some stats that was as of 2015. And I really feel like those stats are increased in the last 2 years. And depression can come in all shapes and sizes. And I want you to know that it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to say, wow, I'm actually hurting. And it doesn't mean that you're weak. You know, I was raised in a home where if I cried, it was a symbolism of weakness. And it was a symbolism of you don't got your ish together. Wipe those tears, girl. Stand up proud. Move forward. Don't do it. Don't think. Don't even allow your body to feel the feelings that you want. And for years, I had to uncover and remove all those layers so that I can truly be vulnerable because I noticed that my vulnerability was cutting into my marriage. It was cutting into my bank account. Yes, it cuts into your bank account. It was cutting also into my leadership abilities as well to mentor women every day like yourself. So I want you to know that it's okay. And it came to a turning point for me. And I'll give you, my story here about how I gave in myself the permission to feel. I want you to give yourself permission to feel. And there was a turning point for me in 2014 when I was going through so much depression, so much. I had at that moment experienced my third miscarriage. And this third miscarriage is actually was in the process of at that time, 11, 12-year journey towards fertility. And so it was devastating. It wasn't I'm not saying that it's worse or easier or anything like that for myself versus anyone else. But when you've been on a journey for more than a decade, hoping and praying, taking tests every month, and paying thousands and thousands of dollars for fertility treatments, fertility medications, and feeling so insignificant. There was times when I looked around and my nieces in my family were having kids, and I'm like, how in the world am I not able to do this? How in the world is my body not allowing to have this beautiful gift? And one of the biggest things that were for me that always chokes me up to this day is that that is the one gift that I can give my husband. My husband is phenomenal to me. He's a great confidant, best friend, lover, soulmate. And that is the one gift that I can give to him that I haven't at this even present moment been able to provide to him. And there's been many times when I felt dark and gloomy and even had suicidal thoughts because I didn't think that I was worth living for if I couldn't produce or be have an offspring in my life to just be in the motion of what was expected. You almost get into this rhythm of thinking that this is the way life's supposed to be, and then you don't get it, and then you're like, well, what happened? And this moment in 2014 was just my point of I can't do this any longer. I cannot take not one more test no more. I cannot think about this subject in my life no more because it was eating me up alive. It was making me feel very insignificant. It was making me feel like I wasn't even a real woman. I lost all touch of my own personal femininity because I didn't think I had it since I couldn't produce my own child. And there was this moment when I was at the park in Georgia, actually, Atlanta, Georgia. And I sat there and I honestly was just thinking about how I can take my vehicle and just drive it into the pole and just finalize it all because I was so sick and tired. And if you've been depressed, you know what I'm talking about. It's like you being in a well where every time you even get an inkling to climb up a little bit, somebody throws water down it and you just shoot you back down all over again. It's like you can't get your bearing. You can't be grounded. You can't find the light because all you see is darkness. All you feel is darkness. You feel this void in your heart that nothing can quench. Not alcohol, not drugs, not a love relationship, not a job, not a degree, not a client, because it's like everything around you is just feeling like it's just separated, and all you feel is all this bunched up emotions of telling you you're not enough, you're not doing enough, you're not being enough, and what's the use? And so maybe you've been in depression, maybe because of a divorce that you recently experienced that left you flat on your face, something that you were trying to control, to fix it, to move forward, and it just couldn't be repaired. And it's left you lost. Or maybe it's been you trying to find who you are, and you're feeling stuck in a job that you're working every single day, and there's so much more potential for you, but yet the depression's coming from because you know you are not living in some type of purpose. Your bank account shows it, your mood shows it. You're always stressed about money, you're always stressed about your time, you're always stressed about the kids. It's just this constant flow, and your depression has come from just multiple sources of things caking on your shoulders because you are trying to be Wonder Woman for every piece of life right now. I want you to think about how you've been that leader and how you've been that ambassador for everything, and it is wearing you down to the wire. You are exhausted. You are depleted and defeated, busted and disgusted, and you are done. Or maybe you've been there before in your past. I want you to really take heed of knowing you can give yourself permission to feel. It's okay to feel sad. It's okay to feel very upset. It's okay to get angry at God and say, God, why me? Why are you doing this to me? It's okay to doubt. It's okay to have fear, and it's okay to be scared to be vulnerable. But I want you to really take in this message today and think about ways that you can show up a little bit more in your own heart so that you can scrape away some of this piece of the condition of your heart so that you can just flourish and live life on your terms because you deserve it, Queen. You deserve a life of freedom and being unstoppable in your health, wealth, and purpose. And I want you to find a way to be your own saving grace. Maybe you are stuck in depression right now in this vicious cycle and lost on your purpose, lost on what's the next steps, don't know what to do. I want you to say, you know what? I can be my own saving grace. That's how I came out of my depression. I was sitting on the computer one day in my office in Georgia, and I got hit with this message about living my life as a queen. And how as a queen, we on a game board of chess, we can move any direction that we want. No limitations. And we have this birthright of abundance in our life that most of us don't even tap into. And at that moment, something clicked in me that I can be unstoppable. I can live a life of a higher purpose. I'm a queen. I don't have to feel like this. I don't have to look like this. I don't have to be like this. I can move forward in my destiny and my gifts, and I can be the ambassador to every woman that needs to be told that she is a queen and she can be unstoppable. So think about in ways, how can you be your own saving grace? So I'm going to give you a couple of tips today that maybe you can apply as towards this pathway of healing. But it takes layers, I tell you that right now. Because one of the first things is, as you're giving yourself that permission to feel, and as you're starting to revisit some of these traumatic experiences, maybe they came from childhood, maybe they came from just recent experiences that you're going through or been through, you need to find a way to get the words out of your heart. Journaling. Journaling is phenomenal. I have my journal right here, actually. And this is mine. And I use it a lot, and I write in it every day. And I share my thoughts about what I feel, what I'm thinking. And I'm also a verbal processor. So I have to talk to people. So I have a confidant. I have my husband. I have hired a life coach to speak and share and help me to cultivate some of these thoughts or these things that's embedded in my subconscious mindset to bring it to more of a conscious so that I can move forward. Because some of you are stuck because you're a verbal processor and you ain't got all these thoughts out your head. You have to talk to someone to allow some of these things to get out. And sometimes it's not just your significant other or a friend. Sometimes it is hiring a professional person to help you walk through that process. Okay. And I can be one of those instruments and vessels for you. I coach women all the time on post-depression, post-divorce, post-emptiness and career changes and guidance on trying to figure out how to monetize their passions and all these pieces of that. And also I forgot the health, feeling in control of their health and wellness as well. I really help women in all of those parameters and coaching them and loving on them and giving them the tools. So one of your tools today is figure out how can you find a confidant. Okay, figure that out as you're revisiting these these unforeseen circumstances, traumatic experiences. What is it that you need to keep moving forward? And then recognize your triggers. Recognize the things that keep putting you back into depression. I know one of my triggers is money. Money and infertility. Those are the two triggers that I have, two subjects that can put me back in there really quick if I don't gain control, if I don't stay in control of my thoughts and constantly reframe, constantly reprogram my mind. Just like when you get those software updates on your Apple phone, you have to do the same thing with your mind. These things are not just by coincidence of what we do in our lifestyle. You have to think about the things we do with our technology and with other systems. That's the same thing we have to do with our brain. Okay, there's a million thoughts that go through this thing every single day. You have to reprogram it somehow, some way. And a coach, a certified or a professional coach, can get you in that direction of doing that. Then I want you to practice compassion. How can you allow yourself more to step in the realm of not being shameful, not feeling insignificant because of your feelings and your thoughts, but how can you step into your own power? You know, this is the part where you're like, you know what? I've been depressed or I am depressed. It does not make me less of a boss queen. It doesn't make me less of a ambitious, tenacious being. It doesn't make me any less of the person that you are in your expertise, or as less as a mom, less as a wife, whatever it is. You are no less because you've been depressed. None, not so ever. Matter of fact, you're more powerful when you embrace your whole you, every piece of you. You're unstoppable for sure, because now you're not holding back anymore. Now you're not feeling like there's some part of you that's insignificant. You're stepping in that and you're like, this is all me, baby. Take it or leave it. And it makes you feel so much more empowered. So step into that. Show yourself more compassion. Accept love. Don't be that cold-hearted Black woman that just don't want love. Be that woman that can be strong and powerful, but also can take in a hug or two and show compassion and receive compassion. It's a two-way street. Constantly work on that. And then I want you to maybe even practice and provide yourself forgiveness. All right. And most of the time, it's good to do a forgiveness ceremony. Maybe you need to forgive your ex-husband, your baby daddy, somebody that's in your circle that is creating a lot of hostility in your heart right now, because that's a condition of your heart as well. And that can create depression. It can create animosity. It just is a spiral effect. So I want you to find a way to tap into yourself, figure out what has you really bent out of shape and frustrating, and tap into that now to say, how can I move forward? Forgiveness is another way. Forgiving yourself. Maybe you dropped the ball a lot on yourself and you're just walking around with a lot of guilt and condemnation. This is your time to say, you know what? This is a new season. This is a new day. This is a new chapter that I'm starting in my life, and I'm ready to move forward and being unstoppable. Living a life on your terms. Living the life that you always dreamed of. Peace and joy and happiness and vitality and purpose. Okay? Queen, you deserve it. I want you to know how much you deserve what is in store for you in your life as a queen, because it's your birthright. So step into it today. And I'm hoping that this message truly allowed you to dig a little deeper today, to find that little part of your heart that you haven't exposed to your tribe, to yourself, to your significant other, or even your kids. Find a way to uncover that and remove the mask of your heart that's stopping you from being your highest potential that God has honestly called you to be. So stay tenacious. Look out for week 3. It's coming soon. Come to our group in Facebook, Tenacious Queens Unite. Please come and join us, because I want to hear your ahas from some of these messages today. Tag me in them. Let me know, what are your thoughts? How can I help you? What types of questions I had that you may have for me that I can help you get unstuck and keep the momentum going on your journey. All right, Queen. Thank you so much for allowing me to be part of your journey and allowing me to share a little bit more pieces of my heart to you today. All right. Take care, and I'll see you again on social media. Bye.